right now. Again, the B section is that map to the left. A number of factors can affect project schedule. Schedules are subject to change, and again, we are constantly updating our web page. And again, if we need to put a press release out to let everybody know what's going on, we'll certainly do that. Let's go ahead and turn to page 8. There's the table S1 that I was talking to you about. And again, table S1 that comes straight out of the EIS. And we've got the 4 alternatives identified at the top of each row. And coming down the left side, you can see what we call the evaluation factors. And there's length, tunnel length, the number of railroad crossings, the number of relocations, parks that are involved. We talk about federally protected species. So as you see, as I talked about earlier, we've identified what's out there, and then we've laid the design on top of that for each one of these alternatives, and then you can see how each one of these alternatives has an impact on each one of those resources. And this is something that we'll use to evaluate and determine what our selected quarter is going to be. And I'll leave that to you to read. Go ahead and turn to the next page, page 9. I hope a lot of you had an opportunity to talk to some of our right-of-way agents tonight. I know I talked to one gentleman. He was in a situation where those alternatives got him, and I think he did end up speaking to one of Teddy's folks here tonight. After decisions have been made, Church Group is going to be responsible for developing what we call right-of-way plans. That's detailed information. It's got property owner names. It's information that shows how close the project is going to be coming to the businesses and homes out there. Our locations and survey staff, they will actually go out and stake the limits of the project on your properties. Of course, they'll let you know when they're going to be out there. There'll be stakes in your yard and flags and everything. What that is that's getting that ready for Teddy's folks to come out, set up a time at your convenience to come out and talk to you and explain the right-of-way acquisition process to you. And his folks are going to make sure you understand exactly how the process works. He's also going to have some folks that's going to come in and assess the damages to your property in situations where we have to purchase your home or business. He's going to have appraisers that will come in and look at your property and try to come up with a value. Again, we look at highest and best use, current market value, and they'll explain all that to you. And again, they want to make sure that you're informed as possible before we ask you to sign any piece of paper. There's 4 things there that we must do for you. Number 1, treat all owners and tenants equally. Number 2, fully explain the owner's rights. Number 3, pay just compensation in exchange for property rights. And then furnish relocation and advisory assistance. Again, we do offer relocation assistance. If indeed we have to relocate you, our right-of-way agent will explain that to you as well. We'll not only pay for your property, we'll also pay to move you to a new location. And again, those are details that you'll get into with Teddy and his staff. We do have pamphlets tonight that kind of speak to the right-of-way acquisition process and the relocation assistance program. And these are the 2 documents. This one is frequently asked questions. It's very good. If you are in one of the quarters that is to be relocated, I will go ahead and pick up one of these. And then, of course, the relocation assistance brochure. About halfway through, it switches from residents to businesses and everything. And those are available if you are indeed going to be relocated. I went ahead and gave the next page there is again a figure that shows the alignment. And this is an 11 by 17, so we tried to put as much detail on there as we could. So you should be able to make that out since y'all are in this area. Maybe since you live out here. The next page, you see a couple of figures. top figure is the superstreet design. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's more of a spread intersection type of design. And then, of course, got the typical section that I talked about earlier from an end view, kind of what the road would look like. You can see 2 lanes in each direction, separated about a 30-foot median. The last page, most important page, is the comment sheet. There's a lot of folks that do not like or are uncomfortable speaking in front of an audience. I can understand that. Again, if you don't want to do that, this comment sheet carries the same length. Comment sheet comes into me. I send out to Stacy, Jim, and the division, the right-of-way folks as needed, so that we address all those. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you've got my contact information. And if you like the way we've got it set up, you can just tear it off the back, write your comment, fold it over, and tape it. Put a stamp over in the top corner, stick it in the mail to me, U.S. mail. But if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, I've got my email address, I've got my fax number there, and you can certainly call me as well. But I would really like to capture it in written form. That way I can more easily get it out to the rest of the staff. And again, it does carry the same way as if you came up and spoke tonight. And again, I want to let everybody to remember that we are taking comments through December the 4th. Okay, let's go through the map. Now, this is not the map we're going to use to buy right-of-way. This is not the map that we're going to use to construct the project. I would hate to try to explain what those maps look like, but Joel and Jamie and the staff out here, they understand that type of mapping. This is a public hearing map, and this is a map more for the public's use. Like any good map, there's a lot of map features on here. We've got a legend, we've got a title block, we've got a north arrow, we've got traffic diagrams. This talks about the turning movements and the traffic at each one of the intersections. And we've got the 2 corridors shown. We've got some design data that kind of helps our design guys when we're talking with you and everything. We've also got some information about the control of access that we explained earlier. We've got the 2 corridors separated on either end here, so you can kind of see them independently of each other. Then, of course, we've got the super street design shown, the typical, we call those typicals. And then we also have the typical section for the roadway. So let's talk about some of the colors other than the big yellow and green bands. Let's go ahead and talk about those first. Now, the width of the yellow and the green bands, those are 1,000-foot wide planting corridors. That is not the footprint of the project. That is not the impact area of the project. That's just a planting corridor that we use that allows us to wiggle the alignment in there without us having to go back out. It's a requirement that we have to do as part of our project development process. The actual impact or the footprint of each project is that red line that you see on both sides of the alignment there in the middle. That is the limits of the fill section or the cut section if you're cutting into the mountain or if you're backfilling. And if we were down east, we would have a nice 250-foot wide red line following that alignment. But we're not down east. We're up here in the mountains, and with the valleys, the creeks, the high mountains, that's why the line, that red line, jags back and forth. We're going up into the hill and we're coming down into the valley. So when you get another opportunity to take a look at it, that's the